Good morning, guys. How's it going? Ready to get going? Shoes on. Yeah, I desperately needed a haircut. I desperately needed it. Wahoo! Alright. Where is my fan remote? Looking for my fan controller. No idea where. I'm gonna join this group ride. Ride it for a while. Let's go. Alright, here we go. You guys some sound here. There you go. You guys a little in-game sound. What's up, Kim? Time for an attack. I was actually planning on this ride, and then I'm like, oh no, I'm late getting to it. And then I saw you were here. Yeah. Get rid of the hair. It's getting on my nerves. Too hot for that crap. Yeah. Faster in the pool. I needed it last night. not sure what this ride actually is, other than I look like a harder than normal group ride that allows a little steady state in. What's up, Pimp? How's it going, buddy? Thanks, man. I always love how it's no surge on hill. I do 4.5 and I'm drifting to the back. Alright. Another fan on. It was an at-home. I don't pay for somebody to put a guard on Clippers. This one was a DIY job. Right. It's effective. It worked. The right price. Where's Kim? Put down your phone. Ah. Oh, so we're like alternating here. I didn't realize that. So they ramp up and then back off, it looks like. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I accidentally dropped my power up. How many Doritos would it take to undo all the training? The joke is, Kim is always off the back messing with his phone. He's always on his phone. Here we go. 2.75. We're ramping up. Dear Greta. Hey, May, what's up, buddy? Got a little group ride going here. Looks like it's got ramps in it. So we keep elevating the pace till we get up to like 4.5. And then we back off and reset and go again. Kim apparently is watching Netflix on his phone. Yeah, what's up, DeBard? New pedals are good. Really good, actually. Raced with them on Wednesday in the Classics, Zwift Classics, invite-only race. We had average watts difference from the kicker of like 1 watt. Everything seems to be good. They're simple. So, yeah. Nothing exciting to report, and it's no news is good news, I think. Been picking up my swim. We raced on Wednesday. Went and did our first open water swim of the year Wednesday night. Did about 950 meters. Nice and chill. Open water swim in the wetsuit. Pretty much a rest day yesterday. My daughter had a swim meet last night, last home swim meet of the year. So at the end they did a parents versus kids relay. So I started the parents relay. My daughter started the kids relay, so we got to go head to head. I beat her by about 2 seconds. Sounds good, DeBard. Thanks for dropping in. I don't think I've ever actually, truly attacked a 50-meter swim. That hurt. It was fun. I did okay. I don't flip turn and I don't go off the blocks very well, so I had to make up all the time actually swimming. DeBard, thanks for the host. Appreciate that, buddy. Gotta figure out what I'm doing for the weekend for workouts. I'm gonna run or ride with a buddy in the morning. Not sure which yet. Alright, 3.2. I could maybe. Let's see what my buddy comes back with, Kim. We may be outdoors at that point. We'll see. It's gonna be stupid hot tomorrow, so if I go outside, it'll be in the morning. And probably be, if I do any racing, it'll probably be this time of day on Zwift after I get out of the heat. What kind of race? Crit, road race, TT? What you doing? Regardless of the race type, first is have fun, right? Rule number 1, have fun. What category? Cat 5? Cat 4? Assuming Cat 5 is your first ever. And I don't know how strong you are, so that matters. So, road racing at the lower categories, they're typically super jumpy, so they won't let anybody away. If you're much stronger than the field, you could try to attack like maybe half or 2/3 of the way through the race. Take it to the finish as a time trial, or maybe with a couple guys. If you're a TT guy that's strong. But a lot of it's just get a feel for just sitting in and having some fun. If it's going to go to a sprint, work your way forward. About 4 or 5 miles to go. Try to stay toward the front. Especially with about 2 miles to go. And getting that top 10. And be ready to go at the end. Don't lead it out. The lead out guy loses. All here. A lot of it's just I enjoy riding and doing a lot of riding. And then I enjoy the Zwift racing a lot, which gets me a lot of super hard effort, super hard workouts. So I don't do a ton of structured training. I just do a lot of volume, and I mix in a lot of things like Zwift racing that force me to go hard, challenge myself a little bit. A lot of it's just patience and time. If you enjoy riding, you gotta spend some time doing it. So there's no magic to it. Haven't seen Kim at the front in a while. Where's that cute little visor at? Phone? Better get busy before you gotta take a few weeks off. Lose all that sleep. Pills are easier now than they were earlier. Nobody's got a surge in them.
Right on. Right on. Right on. Right on. Bring it. Bring it. Right on. Hammer time.
Alright. Good little effort. That was a good little ramp. Ah, hey, Will, man. I'm just tired of messing with it, man. Getting too hot for that crap. We're gonna do more swimming. We got in the pool last night and competed against my daughter. Thanks, man. Beat my daughter in a 50. We had parents versus kids relays. It's a skill, bro. We peak at 5 this time. Giddy up. Look at those pink socks. Hotness. You're blowing up the group ride, man. No. He's 2.75 right now. Right, it'll actually get kind of hard to at the end if we go to 5. And I actually try to hold 5. Threat of adding a fence. Yeah, I know. I saw an ODZ ride. Some guys got caught out on the downhill on the fence. They lost a lot of riders because you gotta be careful on the descent. If you get in a pack off the front and you drop the right leader, like you will actually have to open the parrying screen to slow down, because if you just coast, you won't back up to the fence because you're in a pack of riders. But I don't think they need to, quote, fix that. Riders need to learn not to ride on the fence. They need to ride with the leader. That's one thing I've seen a lot of comments when I'm in fenced rides is ride with the leader, not the fence. What do you think? Spill it. I've got an opinion too. I'll share my opinion after you share yours. Yeah. It's big on a 3 or 4 second effort. Yeah. So here's my opinion, and this is very subjective. If the hammer is the device you bought because it's got good reviews and you trusted it, and that's the best reliable source of power you've got, you use it. Like, yes, it needs to be fixed. The company needs to spend time on it. But that advantage for those 5 seconds in a race in normal community racing, race it. Have fun with it. If you have an alternate source that's better, you need to use it. Don't go buy a hammer, or don't pair your hammer because it's better than others. But if that's what you got and you didn't know when you got it, man, use it. Have fun, ride. But the company needs to fix it. And when you get into esports, I think it's tough when you get into esports, because guys will win races on them, and I don't think you can let them do that anymore. Not unless everybody's got them. Yeah. Like someone like me and you now, we know I can't go buy a hammer and not be in good conscience. It's the best feeling trainer out there. Like, Saris needs to open their eyes. It feels awesome. It is a great trainer. They need to fix one thing, and they have near perfection. I don't know, Matt. You know, that hill is a longer effort. You would have got a little kick there, but could you have hung on that hill? I mean, the first 3 times over that hill were pretty brutal. But you guys did awesome. I went back and looked at it. I felt really good that day. When I went back and looked at it, I'm like, crap, we attacked that hill a little harder than I thought. Between adrenaline and rest, it didn't feel as hard as it was on paper, to me. Yeah, so you could have got back on, but would you have been able to do another 1 or 2 of those? I guess is the question. And you might have, right? I thought the last lap was going to get stupid hard, and it didn't until the very end. Like, the last mile was brutal. But you could have hung on for another lap, right? And placed better, because you would have been pulled away from that other group, potentially. Oh, nice. That could get brutal. You get tired of that hill. That'll be fun. Have to look at the timing. I'm not sure if I can do that or not. Actually, maybe the next Sunday. Yeah, it is. It's a long one for sure. Lots of climbing. Thanks, Sushi. Yeah, we're having some fun here. Group ride. Kim's sitting at the back so we can win the group ride. Window. Exactly. Yeah. Me too. Bring it, little man. I only did a week at Crit Crusher. Maybe 2. You just wanted to see me sprint. Whew. That was fun. Yeah. Well, no, that's funny. They were still... Now, and I'll state this, I don't care. There was no major issues in the Zwift Classics. I got no issue with Zwift taking no action. But there were a few minor rule infractions in the peloton. That Zwift, at least that I've seen so far, didn't address. And they might have issued like behind the scenes warnings like next time you're DQ. But I believe there was a disc wheel in the pack. I think I saw 2 not normal names. I think I saw 2 or 3 either. One was faulty heart rate, so I mean, I think it was a bad monitor. The other 2 were no heart rate, right? So, but those 3 with heart rate issues, I think were all Continental Pro guys. So, like, their performance wasn't stupid crazy for what they're capable of doing. So I don't have an issue if Zwift didn't, like, officially sanction them for it. But I think they need to go back to those teams and be like, hey, you know, we're going to start being a little stricter on this. Because I also believe, like, if I raced with no heart rate, I think they'd be forced to DQ me. Because I don't have I'm not one of the pros. But then you kind of have to be consistent, too. So, I think Zwift needs to address that at some point. Now, sounds like, Matt, you might have seen some stuff. Our team didn't have any issues, and it's had no one that I know of that's been reached out to by Zwift. So, I haven't seen any of that. But I'm sure people that maybe within your own teams had maybe some minor issues that people on those teams may know about that. If Zwift reached out to those teams individually. Like I said, I don't think... I wouldn't be mad if Zwift did do some sort of penalty for it, but I'm also not upset that they didn't. That makes sense. Yeah, Will, Matt, I saw that, like you were trying, and, you know, it's possible that a couple of the name issues, and maybe the Zwift, or the disc wheel, those could have been technical issues, because, I mean, we've all seen where you change names, and other people don't see your name change, or when someone looks like they're on a TT bike and they're not. Like, so those issues that I visually saw could have been bugs, too, right? Just email Charlie next time. Yeah, I will say, like, Charlie has been super responsive. I had to be added to the roster with about 24 hours to spare. And I emailed Charlie to say, you know, hey, this rider can't make it. I need to be put in his place. You know, sorry for the late notice. Can you accommodate this? And I mean, he replied to me within an hour. And within an hour and 15 minutes, I was added in the Zwift Companion app and in Zwift Power. Like, I would say in experiences in the past, sometimes those types of changes would take a half a day to happen. Like, he was on it. Yeah, when it comes to classics, I'm guessing Charlie doesn't directly do those things, but Charlie has the pull and the influence and the motivation to go physically put his hands on the person who needs to do it, right? Like, he can pick up the phone or walk down the hallway and say, oh, so he's got some direct access. Okay, good to know. But yeah, I mean, like, Charlie was super quick at swapping me out. Yeah, he's in New York. Yeah. It was a fun race. Back similar to Super League, it felt different than a normal Zwift race. We've raced with that many riders before in Zwift, but it's a few things that I think cause them to race a little different. One, the guys are taking it a little more serious. It's two things, right? Two primary things that even with no physics change, it changes the way the race feels. You typically don't have crazy flyers, or you don't, even if the crazy flyers don't actually influence the pace of the race, they aggravate you because you see them. Like guys sprint bugging it, and Z-Power, and crap like that. Like, it messes with your head. So like, in this race, my radar goes down, right? I don't need my radar, because I'm trusting that everybody's going to be good. And Kim sprints now. He's just trying to take my jersey. I know with the game. So, your radar goes down for those things, so you get less aggravated with it. And everybody in the race is pretty strong. So, like, the overall pace of the pack is higher. Those guys that get that 8-10 seconds, like, without a real noticeable increase in the pack, we reel them back in. Rage quit. So, with an overall stronger pack, those moves, even without double draft, you just don't have to react to those moves by yourself early in the race, because the pack is just going to gobble it back up. Now, the other side of that is, like, man, the race finish is so much different. The pace got so stupid high for the last... What's amazing to me is the pace got so hard the last mile, but yet the pros just walked away with it. But then when you get to the sprint, like, I finished strong. I'm happy with the way I executed the finish. To go back and do it again, I don't know what I could have done differently. I have one spot that I wish I could have done differently, but I bet 75% of the front pack would say the same thing. I was about fourth wheel in the pack when Bibby went across to finish the race. And I even said, when he went across to my team, you guys heard it, I screamed, danger, danger, right? If I would have went, I could have held on to Bibby. But I would have had to sell my soul right there to go to get his wheel. Had I had it to do over, I would have done that. But, had I done that, the pack might have reacted differently too, and it may not have stayed away, right? So, there's two sides to that. I think everybody wished they had that move back, right? But, I mean, it was good. I finished really strong. If you go back and look, like, my sprint was, was not as strong as some others, but I finished ahead of them, so that means I executed well. The guys ahead of me had those crazy, 13, 14 watt per kilogram sprints. I don't know that they would have reacted to me, Matt. Those guys knew Bibby better than me, right? Like, everybody in the pack knew who Bibby was. I think everybody in the pack, including myself, I thought the pack was going to react to Bibby, which is why I screamed, danger, danger. Like, I wanted my team to be ready to ramp up when the other guys chased. But I think everybody thought the other guys would chase. And that's the danger, right? Like, I said it to my team many times before that race. Guys, we have a lot of strong teams in here who want to win this race. We need to be patient and trust that they will close the gaps. Which is exactly what was in my head at that point in the race, was I'm going to trust that these teams that have the absolute lights-out sprinters on them are going to close this gap. Because we didn't have the crazy sprinter. We're good. We're not crazy sprinters. So, our hope to get into that top 5 was another team to pull the gap and to us have the best sprint legs possible. And pulling that move back wasn't going to be it. We essentially set Bibby up for that by coaching our own teams to say, trust the other teams to close the moves, because they want it that bad. I really thought that's what was going to happen. I was kind of shocked. Once Bibby got about... Well, it's actually once the other guy went across with him. I can't even remember his name. Bingham. Once Bingham went, then I was like... Nope, like, this is it. We missed it. Because nobody was reacting. About the time we crossed that intersection that turned to go up into the elevated roads, was about when in my head I was like, nah, I think this is it. Because at that point, anybody that closed it was not going to finish well. But it was awesome fun. I'm super happy about a top 20 in that stacked of a field. I'm super excited about the way my team finished. Our entire team was in the top 25. I think we might have had the highest average finish amongst teams. I don't know if that's good or bad, right? Like, I felt bad for teams like Canyon. Like, Dagner had big dropouts, which threw him out. Vujison just ripped his legs off in the sprint. Congratulations to him. He deserves those sprints. He was fighting against some tough guys for that, too. Him and Ollie, I think, and Bruce Bird were going after those. So, it's a lot of fun. Good stuff. The biggest thing I got out of Wednesday was I don't have to race Bologna now. Somebody else can race it. Because that next course is gonna suck. Like, really, really, really suck. Oh. It was great fun, Matt. I'm super excited. I didn't realize till like the day before the race. I'm really excited that some of the true community guys got into it. You, Matt, Westy, we're in there. Obviously, there's a lot of us veteran Zwifters that have been around a long time, and then a lot of the super strong guys from the All-Star teams and some of that. But man, some of you community guys. Some of my old friends from the CVR World Cup, Dan Netzer was there. It was great to see him out there. I hadn't seen him racing in a while. And then, a lot of those names that we have raced with a lot, that maybe haven't done some of the live events and that to kind of get some of that special recognition. Bruce Bird, was one name we saw a lot of. Bruce has been around racing on Zwift for a long time. Always been a strong racer. What were some of those other names? There was a lot of names in there that I recognized. We got some fun ones coming up on our team. So I think our next race, Probably gonna have Joachim Plujmers, Sean Gray. Yeah, no, Matt, the one thing I coached my team on too was that this is for fun, guys. Don't put pressure on doing fantastic, man. This is about having fun. We want to go out and do our best, sure. But not this, oh, I'm sorry I didn't do better, or I should have done this or that, man. Like, brush that crap off and just rip it, man. Have some fun. So next round, Sean Gray, Joachim Plujmers, Marco Marino, Adrian Timmis. That's a name that I've been hinting at, so I'll throw that one out there. I think we're going to have Adrian Timmis racing in a Team X jersey. And then our fifth could be Hoppy Merida, could be Francois again. Those are probably the most likely to be our fifth for the next round. We're not looking to repeat anybody if we don't have to. If we repeat someone for this next round, the first choice is probably going to be Francois to repeat from round one. And then the final round, at least what we think is the final round right now, will be all repeats except for maybe, no matter what, we're going to get Hoppy Merida into a race. So he might only race the last one. But I think the rest of the guys in the last one will mostly be repeats from the first two. There might be one or two other guys I might pick up, knowing how these races are racing. We've got a couple really strong, high wattage, but maybe lower watt per kilogram, like lower A-level riders, that on that last race may be good guys that can hang in there, that I think are part of the team that I think we should give a shot. So, we might have another one of those. We might pull another one in there. We might put a giant in the peloton. Get a little intimidation factor going on. Play the final race like a hockey match. We're gonna bring our enforcer. Yeah. So I was confused about round 3, actually, Wheel Matt, and I need to go back and look at the official rules. I had in my head that it was Watopia Hilly, but it didn't say forward or reverse specifically, so I didn't know which direction it was, right, for round 3. But then I read, I think in a press article, or maybe in somebody else's comments, maybe on Zwift Insider or somewhere like that, that the final race was Watopia Flat. Really changes the race. A lot. So I need to go back and do a little investigation. Before we set a roster for round 3, I'm going to ask for clarification. Yeah, if it's flat, it's way different. And I was leaning toward now I think it is flat. But I want to verify that before we throw rosters in. I don't plan on racing anymore. I plan on giving those opportunities to other people. But I will always try to make myself available as the backup if we need that last minute, 24-hour kind of substitute. But I'm trying to let other people fill those gaps anyway. One other guy had a shot to fill. You know, I reached out to one other person about 24 hours in advance for this one to see if they were available, and they were not really available and had already, like, raced that day, so they weren't really ready to race, so I filled it. Yeah, Volcano or Watopia Flat is different too, for sure. SEs versus non-SEs. The SEs can get hard, but based on the way the New York went, the SEs won't be as hard as that climb in New York. So, yeah, I don't know. It could get interesting. I mean, it takes stupid hard power to break away from that group. I mean, those guys that got away were only getting away on the hills and with red numbers. Matt, did you stay in the pack over the first climb? One interesting thing that I found on the New York course that really surprised me in the race was the false flat. After we went up the climb and you go back down the hill and you're kind of on the backside of the lake, on the what I call the backstretch, that false flat there, it really wasn't. It didn't feel like much of a pull. I think the pack. Okay. The pack was going. There was enough strong people going hard enough, and it was a light enough gradient that you couldn't rest, but it also wasn't like brutal. Yeah, it wasn't like super. It wasn't near as brutal as I thought it was going to be in the race. Like, it was there, but it wasn't like, oh, get over the hill, gotta rest, and then I gotta do this next. Like when we're 4 or 5 guys racing and somebody attacks hard on that false flat, like, it's kind of brutal to get up halfway up that backstretch and get on the top of that hill and coast back down. Like, they'll usually ring you out on that because you also have to ride the rollers right through there in a smaller pack. Like, if you get to the front at the bottom of the roller, the pack surges past you and you got to chase them. And like, there's a lot more drafting dynamic and a lot more yo-yoing in the small pack. In that big pack, you just kind of melted into the pack and rode. So I found the terrain, the muted terrain on the front stretch and the back stretch didn't really hurt much. On the front stretch, right before you get to the cut across intersection, there's a little downhill and then an uphill there, getting up to that intersection. You didn't really feel that either. It's like that you really just kind of melted into the pack and it pulled you through those. So I was surprised that the small bumps in the terrain didn't seem to really hurt like they do in a smaller race. But the big bumps hurt. Now, they were very draftable, and we were very much saving energy by staying in the pack. Like, the guys on the front were going a lot harder than those of us in the pack. But as I know, Matt, you found, and I did too, it was still crazy hard to get up over that hill, that big hill. I thought they were going to break us on the last lap. I mean, we even said it in our team chat. Like, we expected the climb on the last lap to be ugly. We expected some people to fall off, people to attack it, because you were borderline breaking every lap on that hill, and I really thought the big men would just brutally punish us in that last hill, and they didn't. I honestly think for a few of those guys that might have been a mistake. I think that might have been a mistake for some of the big power guys. Were they still pretty, it's kind of unfortunate. I don't know if anybody was streaming in that second group, Matt. I'd like to have went back and seen, like, were they still, like, playing strategy and attacking the hills and, like, or was it more of a neutralized, just consistent pace back there? I'm assuming they were still racing. I mean, real racing, like trying to hurt one another and attacking and having some fun. Ben Gollard. Yeah, good. I mean, I think they should. No matter where you're at, you want to, have some fun, put on a show. Yeah, well, and that's some of it, right? You always have that carrot in front of you as people drop off. If you're a minute back, then your goal is like one more spot, like keep picking them off. Stay as close as you can, so as they drop off later in the race, you can keep hunting them down. So, yeah, I mean, there's some motivation in that, right? And then there's the motivation of I was selected to do this race, I'm going to give it my all, I'm going to, no matter where I'm at, I'm going to go for the best finish possible kind of thing. you feel that pressure because you're just thankful for the opportunity. So you really get motivated to give it your all. But man, it was a ton of fun. Like I said, I'm really glad for the guys that got to do it. I'm bummed. There's always people that are going to miss out, right? And you feel bad. I haven't seen a lot of it, but there's been a few, comments here and there about maybe a team that didn't get invited, or you maybe notice a few people that maybe it'd been nice if somebody picked them up for that. So, but the teams need to, the teams are going to bring their teammates to the race, and that's what they should do. We went outside of our team for one person, and I'm really happy we did that. I think that person deserves to be in the race, and I'm super glad we did that. But I also wasn't going to go recruit people to have the best team possible to go outside of our team. Like, I didn't want to go grab a bunch of ringers and leave traditional Team X racers behind, in that fashion either. So that's why we only really picked up one person in that way. And it was us reaching out to them. It was not them coming to us. We actually went and invited them unsolicited. So, but it was a lot of fun. Another month we'll have another round of it. We'll see what else is going on. I'm trying to split between indoor and outdoor riding right now. We're going to pick up some more swim. We're going to pick up some more runs. So watch my Strava. You'll see a little bit more of that. Matt picked up on me swimming the other night. Had a super awesome swim. For me, I don't swim well. I don't open water swim at all. It's been a year since I've been in open water. So I went out super chill. I kept super chill the entire time. I kept my head in a good place, which keeps the panic down, keeps the anxiety down. So heart rate stayed good, breath stayed good. Strava, unfortunately, there's a lot of issues with Strava right now, but Strava doesn't import my heart rate on the swim for some reason. So if you go follow me on Garmin, you can see my heart rate on the swim as well. I did have on a heart rate strap. We kept the heart rate nice and chill for that. But for whatever reason, when you upload your Garmin Fit files, when they go over to Strava for the swim, the heart rate is not there. But the heart rate does go to Training Peaks. So it's not a Strava issue, or it's not a Garmin issue, I'm sorry, it's a Strava issue. Because Training Peaks gets the files from Garmin just the same way Strava does, and Training Peaks has my heart rate. So I'm not sure why Strava hasn't fixed that yet. Apparently they're too busy crying about Relive, which is a bit ridiculous, so you can go look that one up. But anyway, guys, there's nobody out there streaming Zwift right now, so we're going to end stream. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll probably be here tomorrow sometime. We're going to do a little bit outside, I think, tomorrow morning. But maybe around this time tomorrow, we'll get out here for something early afternoon. And then I think we're no kids tomorrow night, so probably date night tomorrow night. So we'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for hanging out. Kim, if you're out there, have a good weekend. Thanks for dropping in. It was fun having some fun with my buddy out there on track. And we'll talk to y'all later. Be safe out on the roads.